With a universe full of well-known characters as well as intriguing newcomers, the DC Universe embraces a new chapter for a new animated series helmed by James Gunn and should interest fans of horror. Let's see what all is about. As part of his and Peter Safran's plans for the DCU, James Gunn revealed in January that he was working on a DC TV series that had yet to be revealed. The only thing that was known about the show was that Gunn had already written about one-third of it while working on a variety of other projects for the company. Now, when he made an appearance alongside Safran to reveal the direction of DC will take under their control, he disclosed that the series in question is an animated Creature Commandos program called Gods and Monsters. Don't feel bad if you had never heard of the Creature Commandos before this announcement. They don't appear frequently in other forms of media, despite being quite well known in the DC comics. But let's observe these characters now that they're finally getting their chance to shine. The Creature Commandos, described as Monsterverse meets Captain America's Howling Commandos, are one of the least well-known DC teams, especially considering how little they interact with the Justice League and other major DC heroes. However, a Creature Commandos animated DCU TV show tying into a larger universe makes a lot of sense given that James Gunn is planning to focus not only on DC powerhouses like Superman, but also on lesser-known characters, close to what he did in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad. The Creature Commandos were a peculiar group of creatures and monsters assembled during World War II, and they made their first appearance in J.M. DeMatteis and Pat Broderick's Weird War Tales issue number 93 from the 1980s. Weird War Tales, as the title of the comic book series, suggests combined mystery, the paranormal, and World War II in an anthology where death would give readers a new story in each issue. Despite the anthology format, some Weird War Tales characters continue to appear, and many of them later joined forces to form the Creature Commandos. The creature of the Creature Commandos was somewhat akin to the creation of the Justice Society and Weird War Tales. You'll notice that the new crew of Creature Commandos lacks vampires and werewolves, which is a departure from their comic book predecessors. However, for those who have followed DC's freakiest of fighters over the years, this change is fascinating. The animated Creature Commandos looks to be a great motley crew combining teammates from the first Weird War run, the agents of S.H.A.D.E. from the New 52 era, an incorrectly discarded Batman villain, and Gunn's Suicide Squad. There's enough information available for us to make educated guesses about the course of this new project. Nevertheless, the team emphasized that this won't actually happen until at least mid-2025. Gunn may release the animated series sooner rather than later, but he was able to give fans a sneak peek of Creature Commandos. The program is currently in production, and since Gunn stated that the Creature Commando series is already written, I believe it's safe to assume that the film will be released in late 2024. Before we go any further, we wanted to let you know that it's time for you to smash that like button if you haven't done it already. Gunn himself has already written the entirety of the 7-episode series, and the casting process for it is currently underway. But this is not your typical casting procedure. The interconnected DC universe, as described by Gunn and Safran, will take into account animated films and television shows as well. So when casting voice actors, the casting team will be looking for people who can also portray their characters in live-action form when the moment arises. Even though Creature Commandos is still in the early stages of production, Gunn decided to share which comic book characters we can anticipate seeing in the series because he has already written every episode, as mentioned before. 7 members of the core cast were revealed. Although Nina Mazursky may have the appearance of a typical female doctor, this couldn't be further from the truth. After a series of radical experiments, she was transformed into a hybrid between a gillman and a mermaid. Dr. Phosphorus, a new member of the Creature Commandos team, is known for his toxic burning skin, which has been shown to enrage Batman. Frankenstein changed his name to the name of his creator to avoid confusion, and his creation, the Bride, will be taking over his role as the team's leader. It's unclear which GI robot incarnation will be joining the Creature Commandos, but all of them and their powers are fairly self-explanatory. Last but not the least, Rick Flag Sr. is a retired military general who's probably still mourning the loss of his son. And Weasel, everyone's favorite repulsive creature, who debuted in live action with James Gunn's first DC film, The Suicide Squad in 2021. Weasel is typically illustrated as a human man dressed as an animal, so it's hard to imagine how this alternate Weasel will be introduced to the public. Additionally, Viola Davis will reprise her role as Amanda Waller. It goes without saying that the Creature Commandos will make for an intriguing counterpoint to the Suicide Squad in all media.
That makes it 2 grunts, so all clear then.
Ah, you made the guy with no vocal cords? I'll look out.
The idea of a group of individuals with special abilities being dispatched on covert missions during World War II has been done before in comic books and other media, such as the dreadful X-Men film X-Men Origins, Wolverine, but the Creature Commands are unlike any of those. The Suicide Squad and what eventually became the Justice League Dark were both elements of the Creature Commandos. The Creature Commandos are a unique group of heroes that have received little to no screen time. Initially intended to function as a special forces unit during World War II, their ranks initially included iconic monsters like a werewolf, vampire, Gorgon, and Frankenstein's monster. They were all led by Lieutenant Matthew Shrive. Gunn's version, however, is a little more varied and includes later creations like an amphibian humanoid, a robot, and others to fill out a diverse team. Despite the entertaining character designs, they've only made periodic cameos in episodes of Batman, The Brave and the Bold, or Arrow, where Lieutenant Shreve receives most of the attention. Amanda Waller will begin Creature Commandos by forming a Black Ops team full of monstrous beasts. Some potential connections in the upcoming DCU have already been hinted at by the character cast reveal for the Creature Commandos. Dr. Phosphorus, one of Batman's villains from the comic books, was mentioned by their pair along with the news that a new version of Batman, Robin, and the entire Bat family will be appearing on television. Intriguingly, Rick Flag Sr. chose to join the Creature Commandos rather than the original Suicide Squad team or the Losers, and it implies that the Creature Commando series will play a significant role in the DC Universe's future. The Creature Commandos might serve as an in-universe inspiration for Task Force X, better known as the Suicide Squad, with Rick Flag Sr. acting as a bridge between this World War II set team and modern DCU tales. The plot of Creature Commandos also clearly resembles that of Suicide Squad, but given that Gunn is in charge of both, it's safe to assume that the writer-director will give each outcast group enough difference to keep the story interesting. In Creature Commandos, Gunn claims that viewers will also get to learn a little bit about their backstory, which should be fascinating. Despite numerous attempts at a Justice League Dark movie in the past, DC never really delved into its supernatural side when it comes to movies or TV shows. A Creature Commandos animated show for the DCU is a promising beginning, although they're less known than Constantine or Zatanna, for example. The choice of the Creature Commandos lineup and the World War II settings set Creature Commandos apart from the other DC animated series and superhero adaptations in general. And because of this, you need to smash that subscribe button and notification bell, so you'll never miss any of our videos in the future. Nevertheless, the prospect of such a specialized team being raised to the spotlight raises our level of optimism for the DC Universe's future. In the end, your franchise will stand out because of the weird and unusual things it offers. See you in the next video.